Vickie, for those just joined us and that maybe they didn't see the first show you did, we take a different path. And it's one of those paths that sometimes it's uncomfortable for people like yourself to share because it is very different. Yet, and if you just take a second and tell us about our first show that we had together and give them a little bit of an overview of, hey, who is Vickie Ruff? And then let's dive into today's topic.
I'd like to do that. I was really worried about everything that I've opened up to because a lot of experiences you just keep it quiet. I see dead people at the end of my bed. I did when I was a child. It was just part of it. My imaginary friend, whatever you want to call it. But I got a lot of reports back saying, oh, I have this feeling, or this has happened to me. So I'm going to talk freely, but this is my story. I'm not an expert in all areas. I've studied a lot of things, but I've studied 3 years on soul work. But my experience are things that definitely have happened to me. Sometimes if you're sitting, you feel like somebody just brushed by you. Well, that could be somebody. And people are afraid to say they felt this or that. I think my jolt was, I don't know, but as a parent, you always say, oh, please, God, I can take a lot of things happening in my life, but please don't ever take a child. Don't take my child. Well, I did lose my son, but he is here. He's with me. He's strong, and you live your life, and when you go, you have the choice of death, whether to come back or not come back, even though some of us don't feel that way. There are chances, but Garrett was ready to go. He had completed what he came here to complete. I think I've had 2 near-death experiences, and I wasn't ready to go. If these are true or not true, or if it feels right, these are my stories. But one time I was little, and I had lost my dad, and I was playing in the yard with some friends, but evidently some grass must have got stuck in my throat, but I stopped breathing. And you know how you're gasping? Well, I couldn't breathe, and one of the girls jumped up and started beating me on my back, and she's beating hard. In the meantime, I had left my body. I could see down below, I could see her hitting me, and I was raised above, and nobody was with me, I was by myself. And then I saw my grandmother, and she was holding hands with another little girl who, I don't know who that little girl was. It wasn't my sister, and it wasn't my mother with my grandmother, and we were at my funeral. And then all of a sudden, I could start breathing again. The grass dislodged. Mind you, my back was black and blue. My mom was upset. She thought I was having a heart attack like my father. And another experience I had, I ran a chain of restaurants, and I was driving home at 2 in the morning, and I came to an intersection just heading home, and this car came, and I thought, this is it. And it was like somebody picked up my car, he just went on by, and then put the car back down again, and then I was on my way. Were those near-death experiences? I don't know. Have I been to heaven? No, I don't think so. I've had experience with people talking to me and telling me about them and about studying. And what I've done is taken what everybody has told me and made it my truth with my experiences. We had a house up on Caliandra in Palm Desert, and we were excited about the house. It felt good because I could see the crucifix on the mountain, and I thought, ooh, this is a really spiritual house. I feel good in here. Well, a lady had died in there. We all knew it, but we bought the house anyway. And you would sit at the table, and you could feel somebody go past you. And my husband, who does not, well, at that time, wasn't sure. And then he looked at me and said, do you feel something? And I said, yes. And I mean, we felt it in that house. Or they would travel around. We thought the neighbor broke into our house, but they were traveling around in the house. Well, one night, my son had left for college, my older son, Ryan. And I was sleeping in his bed, and when my boys left to go to college, I got a dog each time. Now I have 4 dogs, but I only had 2 children, so I don't know what happened. One son kept returning his. But I was laying on the bed and the dog was there, and I woke up and I saw a silhouette of the full silhouette, but I really couldn't see face. And he's bent over petting the dog. And I said, oh, I thought it was my son Garrett. I said, Garrett, take him. You can sleep with him. No words. And he just kept petting him. And I said, go ahead. You can take the dog in bed with you. And then all of a sudden he stood up. And he said, what's wrong with you? And he didn't say anything. And then he walked backwards. And I'm thinking, and he walked right into the closet. Then you heard this clang, 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 and all the lights in the whole house went on. My husband was asleep in the master bedroom. He comes flying out. It was like somebody broke into the house. Things like that you can't explain. You don't go around telling people. And as I'm telling everybody right now, but...
It's just you and me.
Oh, okay, I'm not going to...
millions of people watching.
No,
online.
I did get a lot of comments on, are you sure? But it's like, this is my chance to say how I feel, and there's good thoughts. And Garrett did come back to me. Garrett was able to kiss me on my cheek, and I felt it right after he had died. He has a lot more strength. He chose, I really feel in my heart, he chose to die when he died. He was prepared. He had prepared me. I had everything in order of what I needed, and he's with me, and he'll give me that strength.
I have a couple of questions. One is, when you're talking about Garrett, your son, we think of, now we understand quantum physics, and there's multiple universes at the same time. Does that possibly help explain that really, like Garrett, he is there, but he's in a different universe that you can see and I can't?
I would say he's in the 7th level. There's different levels.
Okay.
They say we're 3rd dimension, and that's because we're human, we're solid, and then the 4th dimensions are a lot of your thoughts, and it could be the bridge over to the 5th. And a lot of people, I think majority of people, are in the 5th dimension. You can see it, you can feel it, but you're afraid to, or you don't think that could be real. Where I'm so in tune with every little thing, and to hear talk, or I went to classes after Garrett died because I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? And I went with James Van Praagh, and there was one lady there, and you took turns reading different people, and I wasn't sure I could do it. And James Van Praagh said he sees dead people, so it kind of relaxed me.
You're not out there by yourself.
Yeah. And so I did a reading on her, and I thought, I hope I get this right. And I said, I see you. And everything I said, she said, oh my God, that's right. Yes, we did. We lived at the beach house. Oh my gosh, we did run the red light, and my brother was mad. Wow. And then James says, okay, that's it, let's close. And I'm thinking, okay. And she said, oh, thank you so much. And I said, oh, you're welcome. And then she left to go talk to other ladies. And I'm going, he's still here. So I got up and I went over to her and I said, can I talk to you for just a minute? And she said, yes. And I said, I have something to tell you. Your brother's still here. And she said, oh my gosh, nobody's ever really connected to him. Wow. And not that I feel like I'm more powerful than anybody else, but he felt he could talk to me. Like Garrett, I was a little upset that he didn't talk to me right away. He went to some lady in San Francisco. I kept saying, Mom can do it. And anyway, so she came, sat down, and I told her what her brother had said. And he described everything. I described it to her, but the message was, it was an accident. And then she started crying. She said, I needed to know that. And it's such a good feeling when you can tell somebody something. And I'm not saying I can do a reading on this person or this person, but sometimes if I am there, I can see a silhouette come. Sometimes, like Garrett, I saw a full color, but I see it, and they always come to my left side. They have something I'm supposed to tell you. And it's usually something you were worried about, but it's always been something good. And it makes me feel good that I can get that message across.
I have a friend, she has a podcast, named is Phoebe Morochek, and she lives in Austin now, but we became friends, and she has a podcast. It's called Unbecoming. And we've talked about this at the center of like, when we arrive here, we have everything we need. And you said as a child, you saw what you see as an adult. And I'm just wondering, and you may not know this answer, we're speculating, I'm just chatting about this, is do you think we all arrive with that ability to see those other levels and people that have passed and transitioned out of this level, and yet we've been trained not to see that? It's been, as she says, it's been taking from us. We don't need to learn more. We need to be reminded of what we already know.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think what happens, and this is what I've been taught by somebody else, and I accepted it as my truth, that we choose to come down here, down to earth, to have this earthly experience. So our soul already knows what they want to experience, what they need to gain, in all the many lives that we have. We're choosing to do this part right here, right now. I'm going to experience this. You even choose your parents. You go around and say, these are the people I
Now, wait a
need to
second.
work.
I said, that was always my scapegoat. I didn't choose these people.
There was something you needed to learn from them. Okay, so they pick you, and as you are born, you pass through the veil, and you forget why you came, so that you can have an honest choice in your life to complete there's no wrong choice. You just pick, and this is part of your journey. And do I feel that everybody can see and feel? Yes. I think it's all part of all the gifts. God is in me, with me, and moves and operates through me. I know that for a fact. Plus, when you're born, you have a spirit guide that comes with you. And when you're a baby, you need one, is fine. And these spirit guides are different than angels, but they're there to help you and guide you. And through different experiences in your life, you might get another one, and maybe 3. When Garrett died, I must have had 15, to help me go through it. And I talked to a gentleman the other day, and he had lost his son 5 years ago. And I felt the gift I gave him, just talking to him. It's totally different, and that's what I'm meant to do.
Vickie, you said something there that I have to get you right on. You said when we decide to come to this plane we call Earth, we know why we're coming. We chose that. But we go through that veil, and that memory of why we're here is gone. Do we ever discover that? I mean, let's face it, we're all like, we're seeking our purpose. Why are you here? I think you found yours, right? You're bridging that gap. Do we ever find that?
Yes, and I think that's the time you're ready to say, okay, I've done everything I was trying to achieve, and I have achieved it. It's okay. You hear older people say, it's okay, I can go now. Unfortunately, my son was 32, but in my heart, and maybe it's him, I know he was ready. He went with the heart attack. He had a game controller in his hand. He could have said, no, I'm not ready. I still have more things to do. I think Garrett had a taste of the feeling of being on that level, how wonderful and great, and he knew he had accomplished what he needed to do. Back later, or you can stay up there for a little bit longer and learn. That's all from different people that have had near-death experiences, tell you different stories. Do I think you come back? I think so. We come back and back. We have multiple lives. And like I said last time with the sun and the rays, Garrett has all these rays. He's life right now and having another experience. And just in a second, you could be back in, if you want to call it heaven or completion, and you're with God. Wow. And God's always there to help you with everything.
Wow. This has been very special. Thank you. And thank you for being open and vulnerable and discussing this. I think people watching this are definitely going to feel some healing, knowing that if they have experienced any of this, that they're not, it's not a sign of you're losing it, you're off your rocker.
No, they talk about dimensions. No, this has been happening forever, but it's okay. And if you stay tuned with it, I think you grow more, you accept more, and your energy level goes higher. and higher, and you want the higher energy.
I love it. Well, you'll join us again and talk more about this?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
I like being uncorked.
Vickie, if anybody has a question or comment, please put them down below. But is there any way people can get in touch with you that you feel comfortable sharing? Hey, whether it's an email, probably not a phone call, but is there any way that they can reach out to you and say, wow, this touched me in a different level?
I'm going to be starting in September 11th, Helping Parents Heal, which is an organization that's going to be strictly for parents that have lost a child, that we will be able to help one another. If you call the center here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Julie would call me with your information, and then I will call you. Because a lot of times you have a fear about it. There's no fear. It's all good. It's all good.
I love it. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. I'm so honored to be
Thank
here
you for doing this,
really
Jeff.
appreciate this. Do us a favor, if you like this show and it really resonated with you and you're saying, hey, this makes sense to me, click the button below. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe, and then hit the like button and put a comment in it. We'd love to hear your feedback. Is this something that's helping you? Is it something you're getting nourishment from? We really appreciate that. And then also hit that little bell, because that bell helps you know when we have a new episode come out. We just do this once a week, and we have 4 different practitioners or ministers here at the center that participate in this, and we talk about all types of subjects. Vickie is very, very in tune with what we're talking about here, so that's very specific. And again, we want you to join us here at the Center for Spiritual Living. We're here on Sundays. You can watch us on live stream at cslpalmdesert.org, or you can join us here in the service if you're in the area. Right now we're at 10 o'clock and in season. Let's call it starting in October. We're going to be here from 1 at 9 o'clock and 1 at 11 o'clock.
And I'm always here. They can ask directly for me. Somebody will find me if you've had something that you need to talk about.
I love it. Well, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff, for doing this.
And we look forward to seeing you again next time on
Spiritually Uncorked.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.